When we think about what a narrative attack actually is, it is any kind of assertion in the information ecosystem that can drive significant harm against a particular entity. And that entity could be a person, a place, a thing, a policy, a product. It doesn't really matter. What matters is it's important that people understand that narrative attacks are tradecraft. It's a growing and highly structured and disciplined tradecraft, and it's become very powerful. And so you can use it to completely shift a person's belief system when there's any kind of critical event of note. If the event has eyeballs, that attention can be utilized to create a completely different set of outcomes than what the original event was about. So for example, the conflict in Israel, Gaza, Russia, Ukraine, it can be very cleverly utilized to not only obviously fragment societies as we're seeing right now across college campuses and whatnot, it can also be used to shift, elections around what types of politicians are supporting who or when. The framing of victims versus aggressors in any kind of high visibility event, COVID is another one, creates that kind of splintering that we were talking about a moment ago across society or even across members of the government. Narrative attacks will not just affect the average public, it's people in Congress, it's world leaders, it's CEOs. We're all absorbing that information every day, and it shifts strategic decision making, and it changes how we think about ourselves, right? So I would just say that all narrative attacks are designed to move people's barometer of what's right or wrong, or where they sit on a particular topic, philosophy, et cetera. And that's very dangerous because technology is being used to do this at scale. And that's what we have to remember. It's the hijacking of our existing networks and information ecosystem to actually conduct these narrative attacks. And that's why at least we believe you have to have technology that can detect when it's happening and be able to help people mitigate against them. Many of us in the tech space started to question whether the things that we were doing in technology were really bringing a net positive to the world, to society, and this persists until today. Like many entrepreneurs, you look for something you want to see in the world that's not there and kind of set out to create that. That was in 2017. My co-founder and I actually thought about what is the problem that really keeps us up at night. And it turned out it was disinformation. At the time, people really weren't thinking about it in the way that we do today in terms of impact. But we saw good people being subverted in ways that just surprised us, and it kind of transcended ethnicity, class, religion. It didn't really matter. These campaigns were designed to change perceptions. And my daughter was just about to be born around that time, and I thought, do I really want her to grow up in a world where no one trusts anyone and you can't trust anything you see? And so being technologists, we thought to ourselves, how do we use technology to actually detect and mitigate these kinds of problems? Is it even possible? There's a saying that I really have come to love, which is, we as humans have Paleolithic emotions, medieval institutions, and godlike technology, and that is creating a bit of a crisis today. And so it is important that people put up their shields and deploy what's required to prevent that from becoming a much worse situation than it very well could.